Good evening. My mom, Anna Adamson, serves as the Shared Executive Director of Believe Greater Dalton in the Flooring Capital Development Corporation. She leads a group of passionate board members and stakeholders who want to make Greater Dalton a vibrant destination for businesses and families. She also supports dialogue and studies from engaged citizens and regional professionals to provide insights into what makes a community successful and sustainable. Mom does this work tirelessly, joyfully, and successfully. Before FCDC and Believe Greater Dalton in 2023, Mom spent 6 years at Junior Achievement of Georgia, where she helped launch the 4th JA Discovery Center in the state. Based upon the support of so many in this room, Dalton, Georgia constructed the first Discovery Center outside a major metro area. And she and her team did it with the help of local businesses in our region who are the engine of our community. Thanks to that work, more than 10,000 middle school students in the Northwest Georgia each year get to learn about money, careers, and entrepreneurship. Things my mom and dad have definitely tried to teach me at the dinner table. Mom was born in Atlanta, but once my grandmother, Susan, found out she was having twins, the family moved to Dalton. And if you've met my uncles, William and Joe Young, you know she needed all the help she could get. Later on, Mom moved to Chattanooga, graduated from Girls Preparatory School, attended Texas Christian University, and graduated from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga with a degree in early childhood education. Mom has always cared about kids and families, whether that was through her career or volunteering with organizations like the American Cancer Society, Austin Hatcher Foundation, American Heart Association, the Bright School, and the Creative Discovery Center. When she's not working, my mom serves on several boards, including Junior Achievement, the Dalton State College Foundation, and the Anna Sue and Bob Shaw Foundation Early Childhood Initiative. And she's a proud Rotarian. Mom's passion for excellence has drawn many other people of significance into her orbit. When people ask my mom how they can help, she can usually give them a job right then. Trust me, I know. At home, Mom and Dad are my brothers and my biggest fans. Our house in Rocky Face is usually full of family and friends. My mom loves to celebrate, and tonight it is my pleasure to celebrate her. Anna Adamson. I am so proud to call you my mom, and I know there are so many people in this room here tonight who are also proud to call you a friend, a colleague, a leader, and an inspiration. I would now like to welcome to the podium a dear friend of our entire family and champion of our community, Allison Coker.
Thank you, Hattie. I think everyone can agree that I had the toughest assignment of the night with the privilege of following that young lady who at the age of 7 introduced her great-grandfather when he was inducted as a laureate on this stage. It was evident that night we were indeed in the presence of a rising star, and clearly that beautiful apple doesn't fall far from its tree. It's been a blessing to watch this sweet mother-daughter relationship bloom and grow over the years. While I've always known Anna through my close relationship with Zack's family and had the joy of attending the fabulous wedding of these two stars, my personal friendship with Anna began years ago when we were paired up as workout partners with a personal trainer. Perhaps that was a foreshadowing of the working out we would be doing side by side years later in the community and economic development work of Believe Greater Dalton. But that friendship and the strongly bonded partnership we share in believing in Greater Dalton has become one of the greatest gifts of my adult life. When we began the work of Believe Greater Dalton in 2018, Anna joined as co-chair of the education strategy, serving alongside Joe Yarbrough. As Hattie stated, her mom has always cared deeply about kids and families, so it's no surprise, despite all that was happening with the JA Discovery Center at that time, she jumped right in and began helping shape that education work focused on the cradle-to-career continuum for our community. Anna was instrumental in the fundraising for the second 5-year phase of Believe's work, and as it was evolving, she came alongside me as a fully engaged and fully committed co-chair of the overall effort. In July of 2023, that role expanded as she became the first executive director of the Flooring Capital Development Corporation, the nonprofit focused on local housing development that was born out of Believe's 2018 housing study. While FCDC, as we call it, it's a mouthful, achieved its IRS nonprofit status in 2020, until that summer of 2023, it only existed on paper. But that all changed when Anna took the helm, and years of planning very quickly shifted to execution. We've always said that Believe Greater Dalton can't build housing, but we are working to build conditions that would allow appropriate housing development to take place. Shortly after Anna began leading FCDC, Believe Greater Dalton did in fact assist in building housing. In an effort that seemed like a long shot at best, Anna relentlessly pursued a significant grant from the Truist Charitable Fund to test an innovative energy-efficient building technology called eco-panels in a pilot project. It was absolutely no surprise that because of Anna's diligence and unwavering perseverance, FCDC was awarded that grant. 2 homes were built, both have now been sold, and one to a very proud first-time homeowner in our community. That is the ripple effect of Anna Adamson's bold and courageous leadership. Anna now serves as the dual executive director for both Believe Greater Dalton and the Flooring Capital Development Corporation. One of these roles, in and of itself, is very challenging. But you must have someone who is just built different to thrive in both of them. I can personally attest that this work is hard. Even on the best days that bring a victory, whether big or small, behind the door of that victory lies an even greater challenge or opportunity. One successful meeting requires another meeting, and that meeting requires yet another. Anna is the only person I know that can strategically and successfully guide the complex issues of housing, revitalization, economic development, education, engagement and unity, and community pride with a laser-like focus on outcomes for our community's future. And do it each and every day, as Hattie said so perfectly, tirelessly, joyfully, and successfully. She can whip up a Trello board faster than most people can get their laptop fired up. She's a problem solver that can dissect the most complex community issue and determine where and how impact can be made, and create the Google sheet outlining everyone's assignments before you're even back at your desk. And she could take a deep dive into some data unlike anything I've ever seen, especially fact-checking housing data. Anna, it is my joy and honor to stand here with your daughter tonight to help present your Rising Star Award. If this is the rising part of your story, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt we haven't seen anything yet. Congratulations, my friend. You inspire me daily, and I'm so thankful Dalton, Georgia has you standing strong in its corner.
My grandfather always told me I was an ugly crier, so we're going to try to not do that. Thank you to 2 of my favorites, Allie and Hattie. That introduction was far more generous than I deserve. Also makes me seem a little crazy about what I take upon myself. You both inspire me, not crying, in ways that are hard to put into words. You make me want to simply be better by watching the way you live your lives. You are 2 of the hardest working women I know, but what amazes me most is the lightness you carry as you move through the world. You lead with joy, humor, and an unshakable faith that studies the people who love and surround you. I'm grateful every single day to walk through life with you. And speaking of the women who shape us, every once in a while, life gives you a metaphor that sticks, one that follows you from childhood all the way into adulthood. For me, it's the classic jigsaw puzzle. And if you knew my grandmother, my namesake, Anna Sue, you probably already know where this story is going. Anna Sue loved puzzles. She also loved her lemon-orange homemade sweet tea, packed with enough sugar to make Dr. Jeff Houston blush when he saw us walking into his office. I still swear she strategically placed sodas at eye level in the refrigerator, hoping we grab one instead of her labor of love sweet tea. But the puzzles were the real event. As the first grandchild, I was the lucky one. I spent countless nights with my grandparents, but the ones I remember most were at her favorite place in the whole wide world, Hilton Head Island. Late night television humming, tabloids stacked on the coffee table, a sweating glass of sweet tea resting on a coaster, and the puzzle spread across the table, waiting, challenging me. Too much sky, always too much sky. No one needs 200 pieces of blue to conquer. But I loved it. The hunt, the challenge, the satisfaction of finding that one that finally fit. And once you found one, you couldn't stop. The clock would tick, 1 a.m. would sneak up on us, and we'd say goodnight, knowing another day of real blue sky and beach breezes were waiting. When you tackle a big puzzle, you start by sorting. Blues in one pile, greens in another, edges first, corners. You make it manageable, less daunting. You convince yourself you can conquer 5,000 pieces. I've come to believe that community building is the greatest puzzle I've ever taken off the shelf. Junior Achievement was the first place I truly saw all the puzzle pieces literally dumped out on the table, not just in theory, but in real life. During the middle of COVID, I had the opportunity to help build out the 4th J Discovery Center for the state of Georgia. That meant sitting down with business leaders across our region and asking a simple question: what does your world actually look like? What keeps you up at night? How does your business really work? And how do we explain that to a 6th grader walking into J Biztown for the first time? I remember sitting with Mark Mixer and Robert and Ruth Matthews trying to figure out how in the world we could explain insurance, deductibles, and premiums in a way that would make sense to a 12-year-old running a storefront for the day. I spent time with leaders like Deanna Mathis and Brian Cooksey, thinking through how to tell the story of Shaw Industries, that you can be a lawyer, a nurse, a mechanic, and build an incredible career right here in your hometown. Those conversations gave me a front row seat to how this community really works. Education, business, leadership, opportunity. All the pieces were there. And when I realized, was sitting in these rooms, that Dalton had something incredibly special. People who care deeply about the place to keep showing up, investing, and helping the next generation figure out where the next pieces belong. That experience changed the way I saw our community. It helped lead me to the work I do today through the Chamber's Community Strategic Plan, Believe Greater Dalton, and the housing nonprofit it helped launch, Flooring Capital Development Corporation. At its core, that work is about continuing to sort pieces, connect ideas, and help others see the picture that's beginning to emerge. And over time, the picture becomes clear. Dalton will always be proud of being the carpet capital of the world. But if you look closely at the puzzle today, you can see something new taking shape. You see the silver shimmering brighter than ever at the bell tower of Dalton State College, in a new chapter of momentum on campus under President Dr. John Fuchco. You see the reflection of water and the design of the People's Cancer Institute, a vision championed by leaders like Jeff Myers, but made possible by philanthropists like the People's Family and so many others who came alongside to support their effort. You see bold colors along Morris Street, brought to life through the vision and the investment of leaders like Viviana and Carlos Ramirez. You see the courtyard at Cyrus, bright green avocado fries arriving at the table behind TJ's unmistakable smile, making you forget for a moment that you're in a small Georgia town. You see a group of women leaders gathered at Chelsea's tea room, circling our fierce and steady Dixie Kennard, solving problems over tea and strategy. You see fireworks over Burr Park, the result of visionaries like David Aft, executors like Amanda Brown and her team at the Creative Arts Guild, and philanthropists like Jean Burr, who invested not because they had to, but because they believed. You see the diversification of businesses that have happened at Textile, Rubber, and Chemical Company. Where Chip Howalt once laughed with me is I admitted that my husband and brothers would feel the carpet while traveling to see whose it was. He said, "You think that's bad? We peel it back to check whose backing's on it." And you see leaders like Jason Denson and Tommy Thompson of Ford of Dalton, people who understand that when someone chooses to shop local, they're choosing to invest in the whole puzzle. And for the record, I took that lesson very seriously, and I bought an Expedition. You can see companies like Marketing Alliance Group, businesses some of us only knew from displays in flooring showrooms. And then you watch a sixth grade girl's eyes light up when they realize they're the ones that make the MAC display that they stare at every Saturday while shopping at Ulta. What Junior Achievement taught me, and what this community reminds me every day, is that puzzles are never solved alone. There are edge finders. There are sky conquerors. There are people who love sorting blue pieces. And there are those who step back and remind us what the picture looks when we get lost in the middle. And the truth is, no one builds a community alone. Every piece I've been able to place has been because of the people around me. To my grandmother, who taught me patience and persistence over blue skies and sweet tea, thank you. To Zack, who tolerates my habit of bringing home metaphorical 5,000-piece puzzles and helping me put them together day after day, thank you. And to this community, thank you for letting me sit at the table and sort pieces with you. The picture isn't finished yet, but I recognize it, and I'm incredibly grateful to help place a few pieces. And I cannot wait to see what we build together next. Thank you.